third part of our Comancheria playthrough. We are getting close to a passage of time here, and so we will sort of go from there. Okay, so let us think about what we want to do here. I'm kind of sorry, given that passage of time didn't happen, that I didn't raid last turn with my band. I'm trying to think about what I might want to do here. Let me think about this for a second and come back. Okay, so again, one of the bigger things that I'm worried about is that I will not have any ravage markers on the board when I do passage of time. Again, there's a hit to my military points when that happens. I am getting a little bit nervous about where my culture points are. Luckily, it doesn't look like there's any culture things coming up. But I want to try to limit a little bit what happens here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do last turn? I apologize. I forgot to unstack all this. Okay. So, what I'm going to do... I'm gonna go raiding again. I'm gonna go raiding because I think I want to try to get at least one ravage marker and hopefully get it to stick there. So I'm gonna grab. Well, first things first. We place all of these. We flip them to unused or unfinished. We place them, and then I could also use some more horses. That is for sure. We're going to take this band with my Mahimiana, and we are going to, you know what? Hang on one second. I am screwing up royally and immediately. I have to deal with this warband. So, first things first, warband. Okay, well, they don't move, so they're gonna stay there. When revealed, if war column is not in the same fast-moving column, if war column not in the same space as band, rancheria, or allied tribe, draw another war card and check for movement only. Do not roll to reduce war column strength. Do not draw another event. I skipped again. I skipped rolling for its strength because it couldn't. So essentially, we're going to draw another one. And in this case, it's going to move. So that warband is now actually going to move into that space with my rancheria, which means that I think that means we are going to have a battle. In each war space which contains a rancheria, I am either -1 military point and fight a battle, or -2 military points. Okay. Well, I'm going to fight a battle here. So I lose a military point and I'm going to fight a battle, and I have to remind myself how this works. Okay, so first things first, I have to pick the Comanche unit, and it's taking place in a space containing a rancheria. So I can choose which band I want to take. So that's between these two. Let's be neat about this. And I can take horses and the Mahimiana from this space. So I'm going to this is going to be my defending Comancheria unit. Okay, so I've picked my unit. Step 2. If I spend a gun counter, I roll 2 dice, but if I have no guns, I roll 1. In either case, apply modifiers. In-play cards. So I do have an in-play card that's going to affect this. I get +1 because I am in possession of a horse counter. I get +2 for my band strength. +2 if the Comanche unit is an allied tribe. It's not. It possesses a Mahimiana. It's not on its finish side. So I have +5. And he has the modifier is a 0. Unlike me, that's actually a -0. That actually tells you what the modifier is. So I've got a +5 to this roll. So basically, anything other than a roll of a 1, and I will win this battle. That was close. So if the unmodified die roll is 6 or more, or the modified result is greater than or equal to 6, I win. If it's a 1, an unmodified 1 or 6 or less than 6, they win. So I apply the battle results. So I reduce the war column strength by 1. So my Mahimiana's medicine is increased by 1, and essentially the war column is removed from the board. So this war column is removed. This raid token goes back to the bottom there. My Mahimiana's medicine, my Mahimiana goes to there. And that all goes back. So I was hoping I would get like a military point for that, but I guess not. That seemed like a reason to get a military point, but apparently not. Okay. So having now dealt with the war column sort of phase, I go on to operations selection. So now I'm going to go back to where I was. So we're putting these two guys here. And we are making up a party with our Mahimiana. He has a better medicine rating than he was going to have the last time I was going to send him out. So we're going to send him 1 to here, and then we're going to raid. So my medicine is a 6. So on a 3 or less, I'll get to draw 2 more. So I'll get to draw 1 more. So I've got 2 for the band and 1 for my Mahimiana. So I draw 3. I really don't want to be drawing a ton of enemy actions. This game hates me. I mean, admittedly, there's 3 success tokens out, but that just seems improbable. Well, hopefully the mix is better for me now. Because I'm raiding again. This time I get to draw 4. Come on. Okay, that's more like it. Oh, jeez Louise. So, Mahimiana is going to... I get 3 success. So I'm going to take 2 horses and a captive. This Comancheria is a little bit low on... So I'm a little bit nervous about doing this again just because of the number of APs I could draw. You know, and if they move again, they're almost certainly, even if I put 2 ravage counters on them, they are almost certainly going to, get rid of them. So I think I'm going to cut things short there. And what I'm really hoping for is that the north enemy isn't the one who activates. So that ravage counter will still be there when I have to do passage of time. I guess actually, now that I think about it, I could have done a passage of time myself there, but actually probably wouldn't have wanted to. So I moved 1, I raided, that's 2. I could move, if I moved there and hunted, and then I would have to spend 2 horses coming back. But I would come back with an additional bison. But I would only have 2 horses. You know, I could spend 2 horses, I've got 3 horses. That's an interesting question. But I think I'm just going to, like, surrender. I'm going to be a little bit less efficient with my MPs. I'm going to move him there, and I'm going to call it done. I was thinking about trying to go hunt there, but I feel like I want the horses because, I have so few horses here that I part of the point here was to restock horses. And then I am... 1, 2... No, he can't get to bison. Okay. I mean, I could have this guy. All right. I'm trying to think if I want that guy to go. I don't think I do, though. I don't think I do. Okay. I am going to I'm just gonna stop. I'm trying to think if I wanted to do something with him, but I don't think I do. I feel like I'm giving up so much tempo by not doing things. Maybe I'm playing this very poorly right now. Okay, so now it is the operations cleanup. This is the role for free activation. I have one finished band, so that does not do anything. What I forgot to do, however, was to unstack all this because they at the beginning of that. So now I am actually going to activate. So I draw a token. Oh my god. Oh, this game sometimes. So, unfortunately, the North is activating. That is, I think, that is really, really, really unfortunate. All right. Well, we'll spend 3 enemy APs to execute this first instruction, which I think is going to involve getting rid of that. Or attempting to get rid of that Ravage marker. He doesn't do it. Then we are going to spend 5 for this encroach action. Available enemy APs goes up by 1. And probably that is also going to... Yep. Come on, just keep rolling high. So much for that. Now, well, at least I get to, at least I actually get to execute this ally instruction. So that goes there. And that was 5. So I have 4. I moved that up by 3. So I had 3 change. So I spent 5. I had 8, 2 4s I spent. I had 3 more. So I have just enough here to pay for this last encroach action. So I'm going to roll again to determine the region. So region 4 this time, which is Red River. Well, there's only one legal space to put this in Red River. So we're going to put it in Red River 4. Oh, okay. This doesn't affect anything, but I forgot when I finished taking my move action, a move operation, I forgot I have to roll to see what happens. So I rolled a 3. So what happens, I rolled a 3, which is less than this 4, which means that the operations counter moves straight down to must do passage of time. So that means on my next turn, my only option is to do a passage of time operation. I apologize. One of the things I have the most trouble with in this game is remembering when I'm supposed to move this. That is not a criticism of the game. That is a criticism of me. But so I was just going back to take care of that. If I'd rolled like a 5 or a 6, I could have taken another turn, but I didn't. So I have to do passage of time next time. So we're going to do that. And then we will, that'll be it for this video. So I have now spent all of those APs. So those move up. And these all move over. So the good news for me is that this he is an ally. So I can't remember if there's a victory check here or not, but if there's a victory check, I might actually end up with a win here. Okay. So that is the end of that. So now we go back. We do the war column phase, but luckily, I have no war column on the board because I took care of that. Yay. So now we do passage of time. Passage of time is pretty involved, so bear with me. Okay, so it starts pretty simple. I mark all of the bands on the board as unfinished. And then I can spend resources in my rancherias to add war bands. So I'm going to spend 1 bison. You can see this has a 1 on it. So I can spend 1 bison. and I can add a 1/6 band to that space. If I wanted to add a second warband, I would have to spend another 2. So the first one costs 1, the second one costs 2, and so on. So it gets more expensive the more you add. All right, next I can spend resources to increase the strength of bands. So I'm going to spend 2 of these resources to change these 1/6 bands into 2/6 bands, into 2/5 bands. So I'm going to increase those. Now I have 2 more population points, and I could spend. I'm going to spend. Actually, I'm going to keep those. Actually, I'm going to spend 1 of them to turn a 2/5 into a 3/4. But I'm going to keep this one, and I'm probably, hopefully, going to use that to trade next. Start doing some trade next turn and getting some trade goods. All right. The next thing I can do is if there is a band that is in a lone band in play, I can create a new rancheria. So that was the purpose of this band sort of going and being where it was, as well as taking 2 horses with it. So I place Rancheria B right there. Now, my Paraibo's medicine is equal to the warband strength. My Mahimiana is at 0. So because that was a strength 2 band, he gets a 2 strength. Actually, I had some resources there. Thank you. Yes. Some horses and some resources. Okay, so that is that. So I've created that rancheria. Now, I can voluntarily retire my Mahimiana. So, you end up rolling to see if these guys die. But one of the things you can do is, in this case, which is a good example, I have a Mahimiana with a very high medicine. And I can essentially say, well, he's stepping up to be the Paraibo. So the Paraibo takes on his medicine rating. So he now has a medicine rating of 6. And this Mahimiana is going to be new. So both of these are new. So they're going to end up, they have a 0. And we'll eventually roll to see who they are. And what that does is then, so the next thing I do is I check for headman death. And so I check for everyone except those in which the Mahimiana retired in step 5. And so if it's less than or equal to, it's greater than or equal to their medicine, there's no effect. If it's less than their medicine, they die. So one of the things you can see is that Mahimiana was in danger of dying because he had a 6 rating. But by transferring it, I kind of get to keep it. So I can't roll less than or equal to the 0. So all I'm rolling for is for this medicine, this Paraibo. So on a 2 or less, he would have died. Okay, so I don't actually end up losing anyone there. Now I basically check for each Mahimiana in play with a medicine rating of 0. And so what I do is I roll and I get basically half of it. So the yellow die is going to be for Rancheria B and the green die for Rancheria A. Oh no, you were supposed to stay there. So this Mahimiana has a medicine of 1. Actually, they both have a medicine. Is it round? Hang on 1 sec. So the rules say that you have the result. It doesn't say whether you round up or down. But it says there's a minimum of 1. So I'm guessing that you round down, which is typical in this game. And the reason it has a minimum of 1 is essentially if you roll a 1, you know, you can't have a 0. You can't have a guy with a medicine of 0. So unfortunately, both of my Mahimiana are quite green in this situation. So now I transfer all of the success counters here, oops, and here. Everything goes back to the draw cup. So the draw cup is now basically restocked. And resource counters on the operations track, there's no resource counters on the operations track. That's very rare. Each tribe settlement with +1 ravage is removed, -1 military point if no tribe settlement is removed. So unfortunately, we're going to lose 1 military point. So I'm like in real danger here of losing, but I'm going to take care of that in a minute, or somewhat take care of it in a minute. Roll a die for each piece and ally counter on the map. I don't know, do I have any? I do have one. It's greater than 5, so on a 6, that goes away. Okay, so that ally marker stays. And then I randomly select a territory. Territory 6, I selected that last time. I selected that before. That's here. And I place a bison there, but I can't place, there's no empty space. I can remove 1 bison from a place it into empty space. So there's no space here where I can put a bison, right? Every space has something in it. So what I can do is I can migrate this bison. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to migrate them to Upper Arkansas there, where I have the potential to hunt them. All right. Now, I always just trip over this. I feel like this should be down below this. So we discard all the cards in development card spaces, and some of them will have if discarded results. None of these cards do. But unfortunately, the War of Spanish Succession is ending, which means that unfortunately, it means that we don't get that benefit anymore of like their war cards are ignored. And then we deal out 3 new development cards. So we're looking for any when revealed instructions. This has a while in play instruction, so I can't trade with the West. That wasn't likely to happen anyway. When revealed, place 1 available tribe into Upper Arkansas Area 1. Remove any bison to stock and displace any rancheria from this space to any space in Upper Arkansas within stacking. If no such space, rancheria is destroyed. 2.53. Okay. So the trick here, so I'm the end of the Ute Alliance. That was the tribe and area of does not count against Comanche control of Upper Arkansas. So the thing is, though, is because of all the encroachment I did, I don't have any available tribes left, and this is a strict counter limit. So I believe that I'm just going to ignore that result. If anybody knows that I'm wrong about that, please leave a comment. Maybe I can fix it, clean it up in another video. But I don't believe that I'm going to place it because it does say 1 available tribe, and I don't have any available. So, and then my last card, I can buy Prominent Headman. Spend 1 AP to take it into hand. Okay, to prevent them from dying. And if it's discarded during passage of time, I can advance passage of time counter 1 space towards must do passage of time. Okay. All right. All right. So I can purchase 1 culture card. However, I don't have any APs left. So, but you know, you can come up here and you can purchase these culture cards. So I could purchase this, for example, for 2 culture cards, two APs. Or 2 culture points. Sorry, actually, yeah, I would need to spend culture points, and culture points I don't got. But you could buy these and then you get them. But I like I said, my culture took a bit of a beating, so I can't do that. Now, place operations on the start space. If passage of time is in a numbered space, roll a die. If the result is less than or equal to the numbered position, terminate and conduct a victory check, but I don't. Otherwise, advance it 1 space towards must do passage of time. So I move it there. I don't do a victory check, not until I potentially get there. But moving into this space, this goes into this cup. So now there's an instruction, and a rather nasty instruction in that cup. And so if that comes out, I end up having to implement that. Okay, so that is passage of time. So now I'm going to play two more turns here into the next thing, because they're fairly simple, and then we'll stop. But the things that I'm going to do, so to be complete, there's no war columns on the board, so I'm not doing that. I'm going to do what is known as a culture action. And in a culture action, I increase culture points by 1 for each territory containing 1 or more rancheria, and I increase culture points by 1 for each Comanche-controlled territory. So I have 2 rancheria, or I have 2 territories with a rancheria, and this territory is actually Comanche-controlled. So the reason it's Comanche controlled is that this technically counts as a peace space. Because they're allied with me, it's a peace space. If that counter wasn't there, it would be enemy controlled and I wouldn't control this area, but because of that ally counter, this is peace space. So I get 3 culture points, 2 for the rancheria and 1 for that. So now I'm going to go through the operations cleanup. So there's no unfinished bans, so I don't have to worry about that. So essentially, I am going to draw a token here. And I just drew that. Oh, Lord, that is so terrible. It's a 1 in 22 or 23 chance. Oh, well, actually, okay. So if the active enemy square... Oh. Okay. If the active enemy square is an enemy peace space... Oh, it's not a peace space. They're enemy square. It's not a peace space. So, oh man, this is brutal. So I'm placing a warband here, and it is going to be strength 6. This is absolutely nasty. This is one where I'm going to look for like some options to mitigate this. That is absolutely nasty. This can really completely ruin your life. I mean, in one test game I played of this, a warband like this just wiped out a rancheria, like mercilessly. All right. That was terrible. Okay. And this is not, so it said that there's a peace marker here, but that's the enemy space. This isn't a peace marker here. And the peace marker would go here anyway. So, okay. So now I'm going back. So now I have to go back and I have to do the war column phase here. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, they're going to move 1. And then I'm going to roll to see if they suffer some attrition. Hopefully they do. They will. I really need to get them down to, I think, no, I got to get them down to 3 where they don't have that -1. And then this is what I really need, is a good draw here. Wide open spaces. Decrease the strength of the highest strength war column by -2. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting, partly because I didn't even know that card existed. But that was truly excellent. I desperately needed something like that. What I was hoping for was like a trade captives for it to go away, because I absolutely would have done that. Absolutely would have done that. Okay, so that is that, but they are still one away from attacking that rancheria, that Comancheria. Ooh, rancheria. All right, so sorry, I should have moved this down. So what I'm going to do is, so just the reason I was sort of continuing on with this turn is my second thing, I'm also going to do a culture action. So I'm trying to build up my culture because it was so low and give me some buffer here. So I get 3 more culture points there. And now I'm going to go back to this, and we're going to draw, and it's a success marker, so it goes back in the cup, and essentially the enemy doesn't get to act this turn. And I don't even roll to pick an enemy, essentially, unless there's 0 enemy APs, so there's none. They've got 0 here, they've got none there, so there's not even going to pick an enemy. All right, well, we will pick up next time, and we'll see what that warband does. Odds are it's going to move. Well, hopefully it won't move. That would be the best thing. And then maybe even a trit by 1. That would be the best thing. But hopefully you're enjoying this playthrough, stumble through of Comancheria. If you are, it'd be great if you could leave a like. Definitely leave comments. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. If you're enjoying the channel, it'd be great if you could subscribe. Sharing the video is also a great way that you can help out. But we will see you for part 4 of Comancheria in the next video on Agility Snip's Gaming Table.